There's going to be plenty of trips that monitor will make more than myself or my crew.
The power of federal agencies is at the center of the Supreme Court case Loper Bright Enterprises versus Raimondo. Commercial fishermen brought this case to the Supreme Court after the National Marine Fisheries Service required them to carry and pay for an observer on their boats to monitor their work. The case concerns Chevron deference, a decades-old legal decision that allows federal agencies to interpret laws passed by Congress when the text is silent or ambiguous. Chevron has been cited almost 20,000 times in court proceedings across America, and changing it could impact regulations coming out of all federal agencies, from finance to healthcare.
Whose court?
And for the first time since overturning Roe v. Wade almost 2 years ago, the Supreme Court takes on abortion. In 2 cases, the justices will consider the safety of the abortion pill, mifepristone, and determine whether emergency room doctors in Idaho are required to provide abortions under the Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act, or EMTALA. Among the court's other high-profile cases are 3 on gun laws. United States v. Rahimi deals with a federal law that prohibits people who are subject to domestic violence restraining orders from owning a firearm. Garland v. Cargill concerns a federal mandate outlawing bump stocks, a device attached to semi-automatics that enables faster firing. And in the National Rifle Association v. Vullo, the NRA claims that a New York official violated the group's rights when she encouraged banks and insurance companies to cut ties with the gun advocacy group.
I said housing, you said no! Housing! No! Housing! No!
In City of Grants Pass versus Johnson, the Supreme Court will decide whether an Oregon law criminalizing public encampments is cruel and unusual punishment against homeless people who have nowhere else to go. The court seemed divided over ideological lines in a case that could impact laws in other states like Texas, Kentucky, and Florida. Another group of major cases concerns the new public square. Murphy versus Missouri examines the federal government's ability to communicate with social media companies about their content moderation. The case stems from the Biden administration's efforts in 2021 to encourage social media sites to restrict misinformation on the COVID-19 vaccine, which challengers allege violated their rights to free speech. 2 other cases center around laws in Texas and Florida that regulate how social media companies control content posted on their sites. NetChoice, the plaintiff in both cases, believes the laws violate social media companies' ability to manage the content that appears on their platforms. The Supreme Court will release rulings until the end of June or into early July.